There are many different ways to build a trading card business from the ground up, and I think there are 5 pillars to a trading card business, and you could take those and do one or two, a few, or all of them. And I'm going to explain some of the musts that you have to have if you're going to do this with one or any of these pillars. First off, I'll explain exactly what the pillars are, and I'll tell you what pillars build my foundation for a great trading card business. Okay, these are not in any particular order, but I'm going to start with card shows. Singles and sealed. Now, this kind of goes without saying, but in order to have a trading card business, you have to have cards. And I really love the fact that I can do card shows where I interact with people and get to provide them with singles and sealed product. Sourcing out this inventory is something that I love to do and provide it to customers so that they can get their hands on the products that I don't personally want to keep for myself. So let me tell you about the must-haves for this pillar. Number one, you must be good with people. I see so many people that do the card shows on a regular basis that just aren't great with interacting with people, and their sales really struggle because of it. If you don't have good personal interpersonal relationship communication with people, then this pillar is probably not going to be for you. Number two, you have to find good inventory at scale. Now, when you're first starting out, you don't necessarily have to do it at scale, but you have to find good inventory. And whether you're just starting out or you've been doing it forever, it's always the struggle. It's always been the struggle for me anyways, is finding good inventory that I can take to shows. I never feel like I have enough. And as a matter of fact, most of these pillars that I'm going to talk about today, you have to have good inventory. And number three for this pillar, you have to be willing to put in the work. You have to work long hours. Now, it's not constantly. If you do this on the side, you can put in a few hours here and there during the week just to price your stuff out and source out good inventory. And then on the weekends, you have to be willing to work 8 to 10 hour days, sometimes 12-hour days. It's something that you really have to consider, is the fact that your weekends are going to be tied up quite often. My next pillar is grading. Grading, whether it be for yourself or for other customers. Now, I personally do both. I grade for myself and to source inventory and try to grow the value of all the cards that I bring in. But I also provide it as a service. I take customers' cards in that don't have the grading eye that I do, and I offer them a pre-grading service, and I actually submit the cards for them, and I provide them a service so that they don't have to deal with it at all. They send me their cards, I check them out, I give them notes on what the cards are going to grade at or what I think they're going to grade at, and I send them in for them, and they choose what they send in. I've had nothing but great feedback for all of this, and I really enjoy doing it because sometimes I get to see some great big cards that I would never ever get to hold in my own hands and sell or flip or anything, or keep for myself or any of that matter. But I get to see some really big cards that come across my desk, and it's a blast. I enjoy it, and I have a really good eye for it. So that's why I can do it. So that brings me to point number one. You must have a good eye for it if you're going to provide this service or if you're going to do it for yourselves. Now, you can't just take in raw cards and just guess. You can just send in 100 different cards that you don't ever really look at and never have the eye for, and you are probably going to be lucky to get 25 to 50% of those cards back in a 10. You have to know what you're looking at. You have to know the centering. You have to know the edges. You have to know the defects with the surface, and you have to have the corners. And it's a tough thing to find somebody that can do all of that at a quick pace. And that, I take cards in and I look at them very fast. Now, probably not as fast as the graders that are at PSA or TAG or SGC or any of those other ones, CGC or whatever. But I do try to get through them as fast as I can, relatively speaking, so that I can keep it churning, because I get a lot of cards at once. Number 2, if you're going to do this for yourself, you have to be willing to tie your money up for a long period of time. When you're sending cards into PSA, they're going to be there for 4 to 5 months as it sits right now. In the good days, it was a month to 3 months. You got to be willing to let that money just sit there and be tied up until you get things flowing, whether you're getting them back monthly or you're getting them back weekly, however you're doing it. But you're going to have to put a bunch of capital in order to build that up. And number 3, you have to have a sales avenue. This is the third thing that you must have. So this ties into the card shows, or my next pillar, which would be online sales. But you have to have a way to get rid of these cards, sell these cards. So you can't just grade and just expect the money to just show up. You still have to have one of these other pillars in order to get rid of these cards. Or you just use a consignment service and take a little bit less with the fees. Next up is my next pillar, which is online sales. Whether that be eBay or a website or Instagram, TikTok, or any other avenue that you're selling cards online. The number one thing that you must have is inventory. Yes, this gets brought up yet again. Inventory is a big key. You must be able to find and source scalable inventory. You have to find, if you're going to be listing on eBay, you have to have stuff to list all the time. And it's very quick that you can go through that stuff. You know, it might sit on your website, or it might sit on eBay for a while, but you have to have something that's continuing to come in so that you can keep feeding that store over and over again. Or whether you're doing it on Instagram or any of the other avenues that you may be able to do that, you have to have inventory that's coming in at a consistent basis. Number 2, you must be consistent. You have to be listing daily. Now, people want your stuff. They'll find you, whether it be on eBay or your own website. You have to have something that's always on there, and you have to refresh your inventory constantly and keep it rolling and keep it churning. Number 3, you must have a following built. So this is a thing that takes time. You have to have a following in order to sell on Instagram or TikTok or any other platform, or even for eBay. If you're going to be on eBay, eventually you'll start building a customer base that will continue to go back to your store and try to find good stuff that you're listing consistently every day. My 4th pillar is content, exactly what I'm doing right here. Content is a great thing, and whether you're trying to turn YouTube into an avenue of bringing money in, or if you're doing shorts on TikTok or any other content building creation, it's a great avenue for people that are imaginative and enjoy speaking and offering services to people. First thing you need to do is build comfort on the screen. Now, this takes time. You need to actually work on it. You have to actually put the work in, and eventually you'll get used to it. It's very tough, and there's still things that I'm challenged with where I mess up all the time trying to make content. But that's all part of it. Just be genuine with people. Number 2, you must be consistent. Boy, there's a lot of things that repeat in these pillars. And I think these are very important things if you're going to be running a trading card business. But consistency is key. If you're going to create content, you have to do it on a schedule. You have to do it constantly. Whether it's daily, whether it's once a week, however you want to do it, you can ease yourself into it. But that is the best tip, is to be consistent so that people know what to get. And number 3, you must either provide some entertainment or some value in some way. I'm offering tips, and you're following me on my journey. And even that, just following you on your journey, just explaining what you've got going on, does provide a service to people. People like to see that stuff. They like to learn from what you have going on. And that's just one of the things you can do. That's what I personally do, is I offer tips and take you on the journey that I'm going down. There are a million different ways that you can create content around the trading card business. You could talk about parallels, you could talk about sets that are coming out, you could just talk about the news. A million. I say a million different ways that you could figure something out. This is just the avenue that I have chosen. And fifth pillar that I have for you today is ripping ships and breaking. Now, I don't personally do this. I haven't found the avenue to do this. I might do it in the future. I'm not ruling it out. But for me personally, this has not been something that I've felt like doing. This pillar actually takes one more. I've been given three things that each step has, and I actually think there's 4 in this one. Obviously, there's more than that, but this is the big keys to take away from each pillar. The first one is people skills. You have to have people skills to talk to somebody on camera and make the entertainment. You're not just ripping packs and just keeping your mouth shut the whole time. You have to communicate with the people that you're doing. And the good ones that build a following are able to do that. They're able to talk on camera and talk to people and rip, and it just seems overwhelming to me, but maybe eventually it's something I'll turn it into. Number 2, you have to be comfortable on screen. Whether it's just your hands moving in front of the camera, or if you're doing something like this up in the corner and you're also ripping as well, you still have to be comfortable on the camera. Number 3, well, guess what? Another repeat. You have to be consistent. You have to do a stream every week or every 2 days or however often you're going to do it. You want to bring people back to your community, and you want to do it on a consistent basis so that people know what to expect. If you want people to come back, you have to be consistent. And number 4, here we go again, inventory. Now, if you're doing rip and ships or breaking or anything, you have to have product to actually rip and ship. Now, this is a tough thing for rip and shippers and breakers, because they go through, I mean, especially in Pokemon right now, they go through packs like it's crazy, like it's going out of style, and they have to have more inventory to come back in. All right, and an honorable mention, because there are way more pillars to this industry, in this hobby. Obviously, there's more than just 5. An honorable mention would be an actual physical location. You could actually have a card shop. Someday I would like to do that. As a matter of fact, my son today on the car ride into school told me how cool it would be to own a card shop, and that made me so excited. I hope he sticks with that. I hope it's something that we could build together. I would love to do that with him. There is a lot of work that goes into that, and you have to have a lot of overhead, and that's okay. I think it would be very fulfilling to do that. I don't have a whole lot of information on it. I know I'm friends with the card shop owner. He would have more information, but I don't have a lot of information on that because I haven't actually been in that world. So that's why I didn't really put a whole lot of thought into this, but that is another pillar. I'm curious what you think. Are there more pillars that I'm missing? Obviously, I think there are. But are there more pillars that I'm missing that you know about? Drop them down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. If you enjoy my content, I really appreciate you leaving a comment, subscribing, and checking out my next videos. I try to do this on a consistent basis. I'm trying to give you guys tips that can help you through your journey on this hobby that we all love, turning it into a business. And you can follow me on the journey as I do it myself. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this video. I appreciate you checking that out. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.